Hi everyone, welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Korona Route, Episode 8. So, the romance between Akito and Korona is going well, and now Korona wants to find something that makes her stand out. And it's like, well, when I enrolled in Mako Academy and the Astronomy Club, it's kind of like I'm following the foot trails of everyone else, and I want to find something that I can bring new into the Astronomy Club. So basically something that has my name on it. And they learned that in astronomy there are a lot of techniques that they use to do observation. So the telescope can detect different waves that are beyond the visible light. And there is one technique from the Hubble where they took a picture of one spot for 22 days non-stop, and it allows the telescope to capture as much light as they can from deep outer space, and then the scientists put all these images together, and it allows the faint light to brighten up, and obviously they post-process it to make it visible to the human in terms of pictures. So Korona wants to try radio astronomy, where there's an antenna that can detect all these radio waves coming from outer space. So let's see how it goes and what they need to make this happen. Okay. But reality is cruel, and we felt how truly cold this room is without any heater. Okay, let's get under the kotatsu. Okay, so please excuse me. She naturally comes to where I'm sitting. So give me some room. She sat in between my legs. So still pushing limits even though you're small. Well, it's not special unless you hold me. Well, seriously, what am I going to do with you? So I held Korona. Her body is so soft that I want to hold her like this forever. And the fragrance from the nape of her neck got my heart racing. And I think Korona wanted it so that she could... I'm not sure what to say, but it's like, just... Well, anyways. So, hey, don't read my mind. So she's trying to get closer to Akito. It's like, I'm gonna use the fragrance or the perfume to lure him in. There you go. Well, I won't. And just what kind of pervert is she thinking about licking necks? Well, you're the one who said that we'll kiss tomorrow. So we can try other romantic maneuvers instead of kissing. So she is saying that we are not acting like a couple enough for her. And I guess it couldn't be helped. Maybe she gotten greedy because she held back her feelings for so long. Come on, so let's do it. Hey, don't move your butt like that. Why not? Seriously, my girlfriend is such a little devil. So she had been trying to provoke me the entire time. And, well, so sit still or I won't hold you anymore. She immediately stops moving and calms down. Okay, geez. So you're so calculating.
だってアキ兄の抱っこ以上にいいことなんてないもん。はあ、ほにゃほにゃする。
So we just sat together like this, enjoying the warmth of the kotatsu. Korona is comfy beyond words. So he spent an hour fooling around under the kotatsu until she had to leave. So is Korona still afraid of Kotaro? I think that's a yes. So over here, Korona. I drew Korona close to protect her from Kotaro. So are you okay? Yes. And a little kiss. She puckers up, begging for a kiss. Hey, don't get carried away. We had said that we would not, but I couldn't help it, and I gave her one more kiss. But Korona wanted it. Well, I don't think that I'll do this for just anyone. Well, it's Korona, so you're special. There you go. Well, as long as you know that. Oh, so your bus is here. We had left my room right on time for the Hoshino bus to arrive. But I want to spend time with you more. Well, we'll leave that for another time. So I'm sure you have to take this bus because it'll meet your curfew. So we're going to see each other tomorrow, so let's just leave it for then. And she blew me a kiss as she got on the bus. Let's see. She waved to me through the window until I could not see her anymore. And I could not stop the feeling of joy growing within her. Okay, so what does Korona want now?
流星電波観測というやつです。流れ星が落ちてくるのを電波でキャッチするんです。でもコロナ一人じゃ大変です。皆さん、よければ協力してください。
Okay, so Korona's telling everybody in the Six Stars Club, well, I want help on this radio astronomy project. Korona had invited everyone for a Six Stars Club meeting. And we are going to have a meeting at the end of February, but the schedule got moved around, so we would have the meeting today.
それでは、むつら星の会第2回定例会を開催します。
Honoka, the new president, makes the announcement, and the meeting starts.
ではまずはじめに、皆さんもご存知かと思いますが、日下部コロナさんから一つ提案がなされました。ではコロナさん、みんなの前で改めて説明をお願いします。
Okay, so tell everyone what you want to do.
皆さん、こんにちは。日下部コロナです。
She stands up and greets everyone, and she bows like a spring and gets right into the topic.
この前、延山の話をみんなでしたと思いますが、コロナは目に見えないものを調べる電波観測に興味を持ちました。宇宙から飛んでくる電波はコロナたちみたいな個人の天文ファンでは設備的にとても手が出ません。でも電波観測というだけだったら個人でもできるものがあるそうです。それが流星電波観測です。流れ星にぶつかった電波が跳ね返ってきたのを地上でキャッチするんです。流れ星は お天気が良くないと見れません。昼間でもダメです。でもあんまり派手じゃないみたいだけど、コロナは面白そうだなって思いました。だからやってみたいです。
Hold on, let's see what Korona had to say before.
流れ星はお天気が良くないと見れません。昼間でもダメです。でも電波観測ならそういう心配はいらないんです。
Okay.
むつら星のみんなもよかったらコロナと一緒にやってみませんか？
She starts with the explanation and then her plan and then right into her opinion or what she wants to do. After she finishes talking, we wait for everyone's opinion. So what's their reply?
先にコロナちゃんと言えたかな？これでちゃんと伝わった？
So I wonder if it was effective, Akini. Yeah, so you can tell from their looks. So there's no way that we would not get interested in radio wave observations. And I had thought that it's something that you could only do at the observatories. But it wasn't so, and even an amateur could try it. So of course everyone would be on board with such a dream-like idea.
流星電波観測か。面白そうじゃないか。
So it looks like the other members are interested. Like, that sounds good.
流れ星に跳ね返る？よくわかりませんが気になりますね。
うちは工業系ですから、機材の作成や設置では力になれると思います。
So if you need help on building it, you can have us help you because we have expertise.
目で見るのとは違うんだよね。どんな風なんだろう。
どうやらケツを取るまでもなさそうね。はい、そのようです。
So pretty much everyone's like, that's a good idea, and they're on board with it. Orihime and Honoka smile at each other.
コロナさん、流星電波観測をしたいというあなたの提案に、むつら星の会は参加を表明します。
Okay, so we'll help you.
忙しい時期だからと大きな活動予定を入れていなかったのが幸いしたわね。皆さんも無理をしない範囲で参加してください。陣頭指揮はコロナさん、お願いしますね。
So Korona, you lead the project.
はい、頑張ります。
I'll help support Korona, so please just let her know if there's anything that's needed.
早くも彼氏さんが頑張るみたいね。結構なことだわ。
Wait, so you know? Well, I'm planning on telling everyone after the meeting had ended.
ごめん、あきね。さやちゃんにだけ報告しちゃった。
So I told Saya-chan, and then Saya-chan probably spread it to other people.
あれって内緒の話だったの？
And then Saya's like, well, I didn't tell anyone else about it, so...
私、光に話しちゃったけど。
But I told Hikari, and I think Hikari messaged other people.
私はほうき星さんから聞きました。ビッグニュースだって。私はあれだ。コロナの兄貴から聞いた。
あ、もしかしてなるちゃん、うちのお兄ちゃんと付き合ってるの？
付き合ってない。最近ちょっと話をしてるって程度だよ。
No. Okay, so... Let's see. Korona told Saya, Saya told Hikari, Hikari told Noriko, Noriko... And then Takeichi knew about it and then told Narue about it.
私のことはどうでもいいだろ。今はコロナと空見くんがくっついたことが大事なんだ。
But anyways, me and Take, we're not that close together, so don't worry about it. I'm much happier to see you and Akito together, or Sarami-kun. She panics and changes the focus back to us when people are talking about her. So, now that everybody knows, Korona and I are dating.
よろしくお願いします。
So I'm embarrassed at announcing our relationship. Well, at this point, everyone knows because of how the rumors spread, or the message. So everyone here is happy for us.
流星電波観測について
Korona sends everyone the link. Everyone begins checking their devices.
ここなんて画像付きで詳しく紹介されているわね。アンテナを設置するんですか。
大変そう？
大変ではないと思います。ただ場所が問題ですね。むつら星でやるならここを提供するつもりだったけど、さすがに許可が下りないわ。
So the problem is that where will we put the antenna, because I don't think the administration will let us put an antenna on Mako.
名工の校舎、おしゃれですもんね。
It didn't seem likely that Mako would let us put up an antenna on their buildings.
そういう意味ではうちも無理だと思います。聖戦女子さんはうちより厳しそうですから。尼校は遠くて皆さん不便でしょうし、候補から外した方がいいですね。
うちなら大丈夫だと思いますよ。機材も借りられますし、都合はいいかと。
So it looks like only Morisawa is a good candidate to where this antenna will be mounted. So Mako's no, Seisa's definitely no, and Ama's too far. So Morihei is an engineering school, so it would be a good fit.
コロナは星野第一がいいな。
But for Korona's sake, well, I want it to be done at Hoshidaiichi.
あそこなら知ってるし、お兄ちゃんもいるから、お母さんを説得させやすいし。
コロナさんの都合を考えると、諸見沢工業さんは避けた方が良さそうね。
So I think it's like, well, by putting it at Hoshidaiichi, it's more convenient for me.
ですね。うちはこわもての連中も多いですから。
But you know, we do have expertise, so
アキトくんが OK なら星野第一にしようよ。どうかな、アキミ。
well, I'm 100% okay with it. Our school is pretty much okay with anything, so I'm sure we'll get permission. So much so that you could even live there. Well, that's not what they were intending, but or it's more like Akito slipped under the radar. So I didn't think they would bat an eye at 1 or 2 antennas.
では、場所は星野第一さんにお願いします。許可が取れ次第、全員に連絡をしてください。
Okay, got it.
やった！
And it's still preliminary, but we're going to do radio wave meter observations at my school's club room. And next, we need to make a list of what we need and how to build this or do it. So thankfully, the website we had found had everything written down in detail on their homepage. So for us amateurs, we decided to follow the directions to the letter this time around.
アンテナ設置のための材料はいくつかこちらで提供できると思います。
Well, that helps. Well, we don't really have anything like that over there. So yes, you can bring your equipment, you can bring your expertise, you can help us build it.
ただ、新規で買うものも結構あるでしょうね。
But we do have to buy,
近いうちに買い出しに行きましょう。
so we do have to buy some of the equipment though.
この HRO 専用受信機という機材だけは取り寄せないと入手できそうにないわね。
So MRO is short for ham or HRO, so ham band radio observation. It's important to the radio observations that we are trying to do.
価格は2万円もしないようですね。取り寄せに時間がかかると思いますので、すぐに手配しましょう。
So I wonder what's the frequency range for this receiver. So we do know that AM is like in the kilohertz, and then we have FM radio, which is like in the megahertz. So like 93.7 is like the frequency that the station is broadcasting at. So 93.7 megahertz.
お金はどうするの？それくらいだったらコロナ出せるけど。
いえ、これはもうむつら星の会の活動ですから、きちんと会費から出させていただきます。機材もろもろ合わせても 結構安くできるんだな。
So basically,
私としては大助かりだよ。
the cost of acquiring all the equipment isn't going to be too expensive, so it's doable. And Narue looks at Orihime like that meant something. Say, well, maybe it might be cheap in your sense.
その説は申し訳なかったと反省しておりますわ。お金を出し合って望遠鏡を買おうだなんて。分かってるよ。姫さんのあれがなけりゃロブソニアンを作ろうなんて話にもならなかったんだし。結果オーライということで手を打ちましょう。了解だ。
The Six Stars Club had only just managed to stay together when it first formed, and now were able to joke around with each other. And it had only been half a year since then, but everyone had grown close.
いいな、そういうの。
Well, I'm sure that if you work hard to Korona, you'll be like that with everyone, too.
だよね。コロナもみんなみたいになれるよね。
頑張りましょう。一緒に。
So we had never let Korona join the Mikazuki Astronomy Club. Well, it was because of the mother. So Korona had not been able to help out with the construction of the Dobsonian telescope. And this time, she would be participating in full, and not only that, she would be an actual member of the group.
コロナもみんなの仲間だよ。嬉しいな。
She said it cheerfully, yet quietly so that no one could hear. Her dream of making friends had finally come true. And I understood that joy just a little too much. Well, I'll send Korona home then. So I'm pretty sure we remember about the telescope problem with Orihime, and that happened way in the beginning, and it almost broke the Six Stars Club apart. And during that time, Akito didn't want to be part of the Six Stars Club, and he was hoping to bail out as well, but it was just too hard, especially looking at Orihime being all upset. It's like, well, things don't work out the way she was hoping for. And it's because, well, I don't think Orihime understood that many schools are not as fortunate as Meiko, and they can't pay their share of a very big and expensive telescope that Orihime was hoping to level the ground for every school, so every school would be on the same level. So anyways,
よろしくお願いするわね。
じゃあね、姫ちゃん、ほなほな。
so it's dark it's dark out when the Six Stars Club meeting end. And based on today's discussion, we are going to prepare for radio observation of the meteors. Okay, so let's head out. I didn't expect today to turn out like this, so I left my bike at home. Korona and I take the bus to the nearest bus stop,
これからやること盛りだくさんだ。
so it's exciting for me. Korona sounds pleased looking at the list on her phone, so the things that they have to buy to build this antenna-ish telescope. It'll be fun. Or basically an antenna and receiver.
コロナ頑張るぞ。
Hey, don't go overboard though, so don't be the next Orihime.
分かってるって。その辺はアキ兄がちゃんと見ててくれるんでしょ。
But you'll be watching me and helping me, right? I will, but you have to look out for yourself too.
はーい。
And my words of caution just seems to fall on deaf ears. So anyways, Korona is excited about this. Well, I understand how she felt, but it looked like I had to keep a close eye on her. Okay, so on a Saturday afternoon, we are in my room making a lot of equipment, or like a list of equipment that we need. So perfect it, finalize it.
HRO 受信機先方より返信ありました。発注日より10日ほどで納品されるそうです。送り先は星の第一天文部にしておきました。空見くんは受け取りをお願いします。
Okay, got it. And replied to Honoka in our group chat. So that's settled on the HR receiver, which is crucial for the radio meter observation. And all we have to do now is to get the other equipment ready before it arrives. So the antenna, how to connect all three together.
アンテナと線はどちらも無理でした。DC 電源とアダプタを固定するための金具は用意できます。
But I can bring in the mounting equipment.
やっぱりアンテナはダメか。
But without the antenna, we can't really do anything. Well, I'm not surprised. So the receiver and the antenna are specialized equipment, and they're not cheap. And I know our chances of getting the antenna is slim. So Moro High is a technical school, but that didn't mean we could use anything we wanted. It's like, well, it has to be designed correctly so that it can receive the right frequencies.
秋に買い出しリストはこんな感じかな。
So we listed out what we needed and then stuck out the items that we already had. So the HR receiver is on its way, and Keisuke is bringing the adapter and fittings.
アンテナって普通に売ってるのかな。
So can we buy the antenna? So large hardware store would have them. I think, well, if not, we'll have to order one.
あとはアンテナ用の支柱でしょ。アンテナ線でしょ。消耗品として針金とビニールテープあたりかな。
So I think they can afford the antenna. It's just that it takes time for it to ship. And I don't think Korona can wait.
観測データを表示するパソコンはここにあるやつを使ってもいいの？
Well, that was my intention. So, it's Astronomy Club property, so leaving it connected by cable will not be a problem. So basically, you can't take it out of school. You'll just have to leave it in the club room and... Well, let's have a battery pack on standby too. It'd be nice to have the option of going outdoors. Okay. Our plan is to fix the antenna indoors for a stationary observation, but I want to be able to bring it outside too. And it's much more exciting if we can see the meteor shower with our own eyes at the same time as the radio observation. Well, that's good to an extent, but at that point, if you can see the meteor shower, it doesn't really make sense to have the radio observation.
おお、確かにそれはすごそう。
So radio observations don't look like much, but during meteor showers, it's quite impressive apparently. And normally the screen not only shows tiny reactions, but a meteor shower is a different story. And major reactions are called long echoes, and they are going to be the highlight of the evening. Alright, so what about the audio? So how's that?
音？
So the meteor reactions can be picked up as sounds too. Something like a boom apparently.
音もぜひ。
Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, so we'll need some speakers and cables too. And this is all we needed apparently. Probably. And if something else comes up, we could just have to go out and buy it. Okay, so shopping.
ああ。
So we boarded the bus to Hoshino Station, and there is a large hardware store a few steps away.
ねえ、秋にアンテナって電気屋さんに置いてないかな。
Well, I don't know, but we'll have to go and find out.
ハーバータウンに大きい店入ってたよね。100円ショップもあったし、先にそっちを見てみない？
Well, I don't think he wants to take the extra trip down there. It's like, well, if we can find it close by, then we don't have to go all the way down to Harbor Town.
買い出しにかこつけてアキニーとまたハーバータウンでデートしたいなって。
Well, I was hoping to use the Harbor Town thing as a way to go on a date. Hey, well, if you wanted to go to Harbor Town for the date, then you should have just said so instead of trying to deceive me about buying an antenna from a store there. Okay, so let's make it a date, but we have to get our shopping done too.
やった、ありがとうアキニー、愛してる。
Okay, so they will go to Harbor Town. And even though we are still in the bus, Korona comes flying at me for a hug. And the other passengers didn't notice, but they thought she is an energetic child.
兄と妹がじゃれ合ってる風に見られてる気がする。
Or maybe that's how Korona sees it.
アキニー、チューしよう。恋人だってとこ見せつけちゃおうよ。
Hey, no, bad idea.
でもコロナ子供扱いされてるんだよ。向かってこない？
So are you mad? Well, it's a little annoying, to be honest. Korona is not a child. She's my full-grown girlfriend. Okay, so just a little peck. And I gave her a quick kiss on the cheek. So it's not like I could kiss you on the lips here on the bus.
まさかアキニーがチュってしてくれるとは思わなかったわ。
So was that surprising?
びっくりするって人前なんだよ。ほっぺにだって普通キスしないよ。
But you're the one who wanted to do it.
でも嬉しかったよ。ありがとね。お返しにコロナも。
So Korona kisses me on the cheek as well. And honestly, kissing each other in public is kind of embarrassing, so for the both of us.
キスしちゃった。恥ずかしいね。
So you think so too, huh? And there's no reason to do it again.
コロナ癖になっちゃうかも。
And the color rising in her cheeks, Korona gave me a look full of emotion.
ハーバータウン再び。
And here we are back in Harbor Town.
うわー、やっぱしみなぎってくるね。
Hey Korona, you're getting too excited.
アキニーが落ち着きすぎてるんだって。普通もっとこう、うわーってなるよ。
Come on, so you're too calm. This is supposed to be an exciting event. I guess so. I didn't get it, unfortunately.
うわーってなっちゃうようなことする？
And that makes Korona upset. Well, I get the feeling that linking arms is not enough this time. And since we started dating, Korona's excessive need for physical contact has only escalated. Holding arms, linking arms, those are given, and it seems now that even a kiss on the cheek is okay.
じゃあどうしよう。アキニーをドキドキさせたいよ。
So just be natural. We have fun like a normal couple. Okay, so you don't have to be all jumpy and I pulled Korona to me and hugged her.
アキニー。
Come on, let's go. So fun awaits us at every corner, right? Yes. Usually I am the one caught off guard, but sometimes I had to give Korona a taste of her own medicine.
アキニーからキュッてされちゃった。
But either way, Korona is excited about this. Like, well, I got a hug, so
たまにはされる方も悪くないよね。
So Korona seems satisfied, and I want to do whatever I could to make this a really fun date for her. And the large electronics store didn't have the antenna we are looking for, unfortunately. So they had TV ones, but we need something called a 2-element antenna for the radio meter observation. and the elements are two rods next to each other, forming an H-shaped antenna.
アンテナ無理だったね。
Well, I'm sure if you're an expert in electronics, you can modify what they have into something that makes sense, and then test it. So we could try the hardware store, but the guy told us it'd be safer to order from a special store.
ああいうのはアマチュア無線の領域みたいだし、しょうがないよ。
And to begin with, radio meter observation is steady in that realm. It requires knowledge about radios rather than astronomy.
でも電気屋さんは無駄じゃなかったよ。スピーカーとコードが安く買えたもん。
So we also bought the pole mount and cable for the antenna.
ビニールテープと針金は100円ショップで買えばいいし、あとはなんだっけ。
Korona took out her phone to check the shopping list.
電池ボックスか。さすがに100円ショップには置いてないよね。
Well, it might not be in the hardware store either, so it's kind of specialized. And the battery pack we needed is a kind of container for multiple D-sized batteries, so it could be used as an outdoor power source. Well, I'm sure that battery size is common, and they use it in flashlights and a bunch of other things. So with it, we have enough power to a whole night of radio observation.
電池ボックスも通販かな。
Well, I discussed it with Keisuke, and it'd be faster if they place the order. So we're bothering Keisuke for a lot of things, but we could count on him as a fellow Six Stars Club member.
ってことは、買い出しはこれで終了？
So, we're done with shopping? Yeah, we're done. We didn't have much to show for it, but we had found what we could. And continuing the search would only be a waste of time.
じゃあ、ここから先はデートしようよ。
So, for the rest of the time, let's go on a date. Okay, yes. So, where will they go? So, Saturday in Harbor Town is much livelier than usual. And it's a good thing that we're not wearing our uniforms, so we could enjoy our date like a normal couple.
秋に屋台で何か買おう。コロナお腹空いちゃった。
So, from an expensive stall or a restaurant? So, we both had lunch, but looking at all this food made us hungry.
ドネルケバブだって。秋に食べたことある？
Yeah, just once. I remember it being pretty good.
お肉たっぷりで美味しそうだよね。でもやめた。せっかくだし、どっちも食べたことないのにしようよ。
Well, in that case, so how about this? I pointed at a sign for takoyaki rice crackers.
たこ焼きせんべい？何それ？たこ焼き味のおせんべいのことかな？
You don't know what they are, so they're new to me, so let's try some.
賛成！
So we got in line at the takoyaki rice cracker stand, so we had to wait long. Soon we had the rice crackers in hand, so long line.
おー、これがたこ焼きせんべい。
So the single takoyaki sandwiched between two large shrimp rice crackers.
なんだか食べにくそうだね。こう、ギュッと押しつぶすようにして。
And I hope that doesn't ruin the flavor.
はい、秋にお酒どうぞ。
Well, actually, I want you to try it. Wait, me?
ちょっと心配で。
So I wonder if it's Korona wanting to feed Akito, or it's that, well, I'm kind of skeptical about what's gonna taste like, so you try it first. Okay, fine.
はい、あーんして。
Okay, so he takes a bite. Korona held out the sandwich for me. And after the crispness of the rice crackers came the most chewiness of the takoyaki.
どう？おいしい？
So, how is it? It's kind of, and the two textures are interesting, and the sauce blends well. And it's not exactly a meal. Well, it's obviously not. But it's just the kind of snack that you would expect from these food stands.
コロナもコロナも。
Okay, I want some too.
はい、
And Akito has to feed Korona. And this time, I held out the sandwich for Korona.
サクサクトロトロだ。
So, not bad, huh?
アキ兄に食べさせてもらうと格別だね。
Well, changes in mood changes how things taste. Huh?
本当に、うちのお兄ちゃんと食べたらきっとこんなに美味しくないもん。
That's right. So it tastes differently and not in a good way if it's with my brother or Oni-chan. Well, so who you ate with is important too. So without Korona here, I would have never been this excited.
さてと次は。
So we're still eating? So another stall?
しょっぱいものを食べたら次は甘いものなのです。
So I want something sweet to balance out my tongue. I had a feeling that this cycle would continue. And we walked around the food stand for a while more. And they go to the planetarium. So it's dark inside the dome, and not long after the program starts, Korona starts to nod off. And she fell asleep. Korona looks so cute as she slept. So I wonder what show they're watching. So after all that waiting and eating, she's already exhausted. You know, you don't look strange at all when you sleep. So I actually mean like which program for the planetarium they're watching. And I wonder what it had that made Korona fall asleep. It's probably too good. So she had said it bothered her, but I almost wanted to take a picture of her right now. And I would have too if it weren't in the planetarium.
ごめん、アキ兄。すっかり寝ちゃった。
As we left the planetarium, Korona looks dejected. It's like, well, I kind of feel bad that I slept. Well, it's okay, and it shows how relaxed you were.
デート中だったのに。
So yeah, it's a date, and I kind of ruined it. And maybe she planned on some hinky-pinky when we were inside. Unfortunately, sleep prevailed. Well, you look cute while you're sleeping, and I didn't even watch the program. Okay, so he has no idea what the show was.
それ困る。恥ずかしいよ。
Well, it's kind of bad though, still.
寝顔変じゃなかった？半分白目向いてたりしなかった？
So, did you see how I was sleeping and did I look embarrassing? Well, not at all. Well, if we hadn't been in the planetarium, it would have taken, or I would have taken a photo, and I'm sure he'll show it to Korona at least.
撮らなくていいから。
Well, that's bad. No photos. She really didn't want anyone to see her sleeping. I didn't take any photos, but she is still really embarrassed.
っていうか、アキ兄ばっかずるいよ。コロナも寝顔見たい。
Well, if you can do that, then I'll do the same thing. So when you're sleeping, I'll take a picture of you. Well, I don't know about that. And aside from summer camp, she would not have any chance to see me asleep.
寝顔見たい。いいでしょ？
Well, sure, but what exactly do you tend to do?
アキ兄のお部屋。
Well, I'll take a picture in your room. In other words, real sleep, not just me dozing off at school or whatever. Well, if you're that serious, then I'm going to pass. Well... And besides, I'm not sleepy yet, and it's going to take a few hours, you know.
コロナ、お布団に入ったら即すやーなのに。
Well, I'm jealous of how you fell asleep. And maybe I am sleepy, but I would not be able to go to sleep straight away if Korona is watching me. Anyways, so looking at me sleep will have to wait. Instead, I'll see you home. I'll send you home.
はーい。
Okay, says Korona. Korona looks disappointed, but in the end, she understood. Well, the bottom line is that Akito never took the picture, so Korona doesn't have to worry at all. So anyways, it's now the next day, and it looks like... Okay, so they ordered a receiver and an antenna, and the antenna arrived first. The receiver would take a while longer, it seemed. And we decided to set up the antenna before the receiver got here. Okay, so thanks for coming all the way. So it looks like Morisawa came to help. And you can see Keisuke.
いや、僕らの技術がお役に立つなら、このくらいお安いご用ですよ。
So two more Misawa High students, so Keisuke and another club member, are here for the antenna setup.
うちの部員も話を聞いて気になってたんですよ。参加できると聞いて喜んでます。
So he volunteered to help.
うっす、よろしくお願いします。
わあ、結構なこわもてだね。
そうっすか？すいません。
So did I scare you? Oops, sorry.
彼はこう見えて温和な詩人ですから、技術もあるので安心してください。
Well, he does seem scary, but he's a good person.
よろしくね。
うっす。
So Korona is a little apprehensive. And he is with Keisuke, so it should be okay. Well, I heard that in technical schools, the older students are really tough on the younger ones.
まずは窓の確認をさせてください。
Okay, so windows. Keisuke starts by checking the windows.
どこかにアンテナ線を通す必要がありますが、どこにしましょう？
So what do you mean?
一番手っ取り早いのは窓を完全に閉めないことですね。
So it's better.
サッシに挟むような感じ。
So we need to find some way to have a cable run in from outside to inside. It's easy to leave the window open. Or if they want to make it more permanent, like they can drill holes in the wall.
それだと鍵が閉められなくなっちゃうね。
学校のセキュリティ面で戸締まりが必須なのでしたら、この方法は使えません。
So any other ideas?
あとは壁か窓に小さい穴を開けさせてもらって、そこを通す方法があります。
So the drill method. Well, I don't know if that's okay. And I'm sure the school won't let them do that. So making holes in the wall is not a good idea. We have permission, more or less, to set up the antenna, but I don't think that includes modifying the school structure.
エアコンの室外機につながる穴がありゃ、そこを使えるんだがな。
So if we can find a hole that was intended for an air conditioning unit... Well, sorry, so this room has no air AC.
見りゃわかるって。気にすんな。
So they had a rough way of speaking, but he seems like a good guy.
部長、こいつはどうしますか？
So what's your solution then?
空見さん、星野第一のセキュリティはどうだろう？施錠しないと具合が悪いですか？
So we'll stick with the window method. Well, I don't think so. As long as it's not obvious, we should be fine.
では、上部の窓を使わせてもらうとしましょう。下は公務員さんも気にされるでしょうから。
部長、隙間用のテープ持ってきたっす。
And let's use tape to hide the cracks.
お、助かる。
それは？
隙間を埋めるためのテープです。スポンジに粘着テープがついてましてね。
And it expands. So Keisuke did a demonstration for us. So let's put some expandable foam or sponge on it, and then use tape over it and That'll allow a cable to go from the outside to the inside without it being a problem.
ケーブルを通す部分だけスポンジをカットするんです。
おお。
どうです？これで隙間風の心配もないでしょう。
And you don't have to worry about cold drafts. Well, okay, looks good. And that settles the problem of the cable. And I just had to tell one of the teachers later about the window being unlocked.
次にアンテナですね。
So it only arrived yesterday, so we hadn't even opened up the box yet to check it.
開けちまってもいいですか？
Okay, thanks. Nakajima expertly undid the packaging with a paper cutter.
確かに 50MHz 対応のアンテナです。間違ってませんね。
Okay, so this ham band radio operates at 50 megahertz, so it's less than FM radio, but definitely higher than AM radio. And I think above FM radio, that's the frequency that the air traffic control uses to monitor the flights and the airplanes on the ground. So the frequency used for radio meter observations is, let's see, 53.750 megahertz. And I wonder if there's anything in between the ham band range and the FM range. Because I think FM starts around 89 or maybe 88 megahertz.
では、アンテナの設置場所に案内していただけますか?
Okay, got it. And when I asked the school about putting up an antenna for the astronomy club, they'd actually given us a space on the roof. Okay. So that had actually worked out well, and the signal would be so much better on the roof compared to putting an antenna out the cupboard window. And I think it might make it easier for them to route the cable, because I think it's not going to be a problem if they go through the ceiling. And if it becomes a problem, they can always replace the ceiling tile. Okay, so...
ここなら電波状況も良さそうですね。では、早速作業に入ります。
Alright, so let's get to work. So let's put the antenna here on the rooftop. And without any delay, the two Moro Misawa students started setting up the antenna. So Keisuke, if there's anything that we can do to help...
そうですね。手が必要になりましたらその都度お願いしますので手伝ってください。
I'll let you know. Got it.
コロナたちはあんまりお役に立てないっぽいね。
Well, that's how it is. We aren't experts, so we just get in their way. That's true. And these technical schoolgoers, on the other hand, definitely are. So using their tools, they swiftly set up the antenna, and we helped them out a bit by holding up the antenna. And for example, but basically, they did everything.
空見さん、部室の前にアンテナ線を垂らしますので、向こうで受け取ってもらえますか?
So they'll still go through the window. Sure. So Korona and I went back to the club room.
線を垂らすって大丈夫なのかな?
I think he confirmed the window's position just now, so it'll be fine. So Keisuke is going to bring the cable to the side of the building where our room is and let it down.
アンテナ線行きます。
And suddenly, I got a text from Keisuke. And before I could reply, the antenna cable appears outside the window.
どうしよう、結構遠いよ。
So let's get a hold of it with a stick or something. Okay, so they're trying to feed the cable down, and we have to pick it up and route it correctly. So we found an umbrella in the corner of the room, which allows us to snag the cable easily.
やった、取れたよ。
Okay, we got it.
お、うまくいったみたいですね。
Perfect! And he comes down to help apparently.
そんじゃあ、アンテナ線を固定しますんで。
気をつけてね。
うっす。
So he put the ladder they brought next to the window and nimbly climbed up to it.
雨水用の排水管が脇にあるんで、そこにうまいことつけられそうっす。
And sticking his hand out the window, he used the wiring to make sure the cable stayed put.
アンテナの設置も終わりました。後で確認しに来てください。
Got it. Thanks.
線の固定もなんとかなりそうですね。
アンテナ線の固定完了したっす。確認お願いします。
Okay, so you just have to go over and make sure it's all good.
どれ、見せてみろ。
Keisuke climbs the ladder to check on the cable, and he's making sure that it will not come loose when pulled or be blown off by the wind.
ひとまずアンテナ線は問題ないようです。あとはアンテナ次第になりますね。
Okay, so the cable is good.
お二人も屋上に来て直接見て確認してください。
So the antenna is now installed. So does it look wobbly? So is it sturdy?
少し風で揺れてるけど、真ん中はしっかりしてるよ。ケーブルも、ちゃんとつながってる。
So connection is good. Alright, so that settles the antenna as well. And the H-shaped antenna stood proud and tall in the corner of the roof. I didn't really know what to look for, to be honest. Well, at least make sure it's sturdy, it's secured tightly, and the connection is good and not loose. And I only checked that it would not fall over. So that's a start.
ご苦労様でした。きちんと受信できるかどうかは受信機が来てからになりますね。一応すぐに接続できるようにしておきましたので、届いたらそちらで確認してみてください。
Well, thanks. So we'll handle that.
アンテナの角度と調整が必要になるかもしれません。その際には僕に連絡してください。すぐに駆けつけますので。
If you need any help, you can contact us. Okay, got it. Thanks for everything. I really appreciate it.
僕らが役に立てるのが本当に嬉しいんです。ロブソニアの時は要となる主教を空見さんに任せっきりでしたから。これでいくらかは恩返しできたでしょうか。
Well, I had no idea that is on Keisuke's mind. And we had built the place one. We had a lot of help from the students at Morimisawa, just like today. Keisuke had even agreed to express the entire process as... So it was me who was in his debt, actually. Oh, so we don't have to keep track of favors and all that, you know.
そうだよ。コロナたち、ムツラボシの仲間なんだから。
So Korona's words left me dumbfounded.
それもそうでしたね。仲間ですから。
And then Keisuke gave us his brightest smile yet.
流星電波観測、楽しみにしてます。うまくいくといいですね。
And after completing the antenna setup, Keisuke and Kawana Kajima packed up and left. Okay, so this is a good place to stop for this episode. And in the next episode, I'm sure the receiver is going to come. And once they hook it up, let's see if it performs as intended, if it works, and what Korona and Akito will see on the computer in terms of radio observation. So, as for Korona wanting to be close to Akito, if I remember correctly from the Japanese version, there's actually an H scene that happens, and it looks like Moinovo covered up very well. So, after the bus trip, I forgot. Oh, so it was from Mako back to home early in this episode. There's actually an H scene that takes place. And that kind of explains why Korona really wants to be really close to Akito, more than just holding hands or just clinging on to each other. But anyways, with that in mind, I'll see you in next episode.